What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Steelers Sanctuary podcast. I'm your host, Dave Rivero from SteelersSanctuary.com, and this is my co-host, David Cora. What's up, Dave?
Hey, what's up?
Dave's a little banged up today, but he's powering through. Let's start out with a little bit of news this week that's happened since the last time we spoke. Steelers signed two people to the practice squad. Ryan McCullum, who has been bounced on and off for a couple times now. He's a center, I believe. And safety Scott Nelson, that's a new name. He's kind of interesting. I remembered him from my draft prep back in March and April. This dude is a pretty good athlete, 9.69 RAS score. He's 6'2", 204, ran a 4.40. Not a bad guy to take a flyer on for the practice squad anyway.
No, I mean, he probably never sniffs the field since every guy they pick up, they never, really actually put him out there, but we'll see.
I wonder if that's trying to tell us something about the safety situation with Edmonds and Minka.
I don't know. I'm worried about that situation. I don't know. We are so banged up on defense now. It's not even funny.
The secondary, especially. Well, Steelers are 14-point underdogs for the first time since 1970, bro. 1970. The closest they came, they were 13.5 underdogs against the Cowboys in that Super Bowl, which they came pretty close to winning that game. This is a new low for this franchise, being 14-point dogs, man.
Yeah, it's call it self-inflicted. They deserve it.
Yeah, pretty much. Calvin Austin is off the IR. There's some good news. He practiced today, so they have 21 days to activate him so he could play. I don't think we'll see him this week, but maybe the following week. I mean, he's been out for a while. He's been out for a long time.
No, but it can't happen fast enough. Let me tell you that much.
For sure.
I've had my fill of Olszewski, my fill of Claypool. Please bring that dude back as soon as possible because we need to put him out there, give him a shot.
Yeah, I agree completely. Interesting thing Sunday night on Sunday Night Football. I don't know if you caught this. They had a little thing about Juju, and he said he's learned more about offense in the few months he's been in Kansas City than he did the entire time when he was in Pittsburgh. If that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does with this offensive coaching staff over the last couple of years, man.
Yeah, because everybody they've hired in the last couple of years is a fucking joke. They're a joke. They're not professional offensive coordinators. And they're never going to learn. They're going to have to spend money, get a legit offensive coordinator. If they ever want to move forward, I mean, that's just me. Because clearly everybody's leaving us and they're like, wow, I am learning so much more. And it's just like, what the hell? Yeah. I don't know what it's going to take for Tomlin to wake up or Rooney or whoever the fuck to realize that, hey, man, you guys got to quit playing these fucking games and go get some real offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators for that matter.
Yeah, I was just going to say both coordinators need to go. I mean, we've beaten this to a dead horse. This is just not a good group of coaches on this team, and it's not sure people are talking now. Like even Minka at the end of the game said he didn't like, the calls towards the end of the game. He didn't think they were in the right, sets for those last few drives. Now it's Juju. We've heard it from players outside the organization saying it. It's the heat's starting to come on. Obviously they're 1-3, so the vultures start circling. But Juju's not the type of guy to just take a shot, just to take a shot.
Right.
I think he still loves the organization.
I think he's just being dead honest.
He's just being honest. Yeah, I'm just going to say that. Just being honest, and it's a sad state, man.
No, he's just telling the truth, and there's not much else there is to it. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because, I know you had this conversation before about Bieniemy. I don't know. I still think Bieniemy is not a bad offensive coordinator. He's probably 10 times better than fucking Matt Canada or Fichtner for that matter. So to go from those last two, right, to that with Andy Reid, who's considered an offensive genius. So you go from that to that. Yeah, I'm going to say, you probably have learned more in the last 5 months than you did 5 years at the Steelers.
I mean, you watch the Kansas City offense compared to the Steelers offense. It's like they're not even playing the same game. It's like Pop Warner versus NFL.
Yep.
It's bad.
And it's going to be the same this coming week with Buffalo. And you saw it with the 49ers. You've seen it with the Rams. You've seen it with a lot of these teams, man. They're Dolphins. I mean, look, when Tua was not, getting hurt. I mean, you saw what the hell they were starting
Yeah.
to do, right? I mean, just I don't know, man. Until they decide to get serious, those coordinators, I don't know what this organization is going to do. I don't know how far we're going to go.
One person that we can chalk up to being down on his team, Ryan Clark on Get Up. He just said they don't have any talent. That was the gist of his point. He said this is the worst talent team he's seen in Pittsburgh in a while. I tend to disagree a little bit with it. I think him and Tomlin are tight, and I don't think he wants to take too many shots at Tomlin. I mean, I know he has in the past, but I think this one's kind of putting it on the players, which granted is part of it, but I don't think they're quite as bad talent-wise. I didn't think it's a lot.
I think it's a mixture of everything. I think it's a mixture of coaching, some boneheads on this team. Like last year, we saw a lot of boneheaded plays with a couple of them. Deontay Johnson not being on the same page with Ben a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Claypool not knowing what to do a couple times. Like I just don't think that I just think it's a combination of everything. It's a combination of some boneheaded players that don't pay attention or not prepared. 2, they're not prepared right by the coaches. And 3, not all of them are playing to the talent that they thought they were supposed to be. Claypool used to be that guy that was a comeback catching wide receiver. What the fuck happened? How did he come to Pittsburgh and completely turn into like a Pac-Man, where every time he catches the ball, he folds like Pac-Man and then falls on the ground? Like what the hell made him become that? Like, to me, that seems more like a mental thing, but like coaching needs to put a stop to that. I mean, I just, and then Deontay with the drops, that's well documented. Finally last year he did really well until the playoffs, and all of a sudden last couple games running into playoffs, then all of a sudden the dropsies were back.
Yeah, he's had a few this year too. It's
and then this year same thing. Yeah. And so it's just like, man, what the hell? Like, these guys are just not playing the capability they should be playing to, and I don't, like I said, it's a mixture of a lot of things, but the buck always stops with coaching.
Yeah,
great coaching can mask so many things.
Tell me about it, brother. And it's not. Just look at the Patriots last weekend. They took the Packers on the road to overtime,
right,
with a third-string quarterback, no less, with Bailey fucking Zappi as their quarterback.
Old Bailey Zappi.
Oh my god.
I mean, hey, dude.
It's the coach. People don't want to talk about it, but it's a couple of bad coordinators, and Mike Tomlin struggling a little bit.
Yep.
I don't know.
Mike Tomlin's still big, the defensive coordinator, not calling plays when he's not supposed to be. And I don't know what happened there. Like, I could have sworn that was over with. I could have sworn it was with Terrell Austin, with Flores. I thought that was the thing, but no, it's not.
Yeah, I wrote a piece about it today. He's never given up control, and we talked about it a little bit last week. Until Rooney steps up and says something and forces his hand, it's just going to be the same old shit. It's never going to change. We talked about it. Pickett. Tomlin is the number one guy in Pittsburgh. There's no one to challenge him. Now that general manager retired, he's the guy now. The only one that can challenge him is Rooney, the owner. That's the only guy, and we'll see if he ever does it. I have my doubts that that'll happen either. All right, moving on to the game. You got anything else on the game on Sunday? I mean, Pickett becoming the starter, I think, is about the only bright spot in the entire day. I mean, it's really time to start thinking about 2023, which players you want around, because this team is just.
Look, people want to debate the goddamn interceptions and stuff, and I mean, in the end, he gave a receiver a chance on every goddamn throw.
Yes.
Every damn throw, he gave a wide receiver a chance to catch that ball. In the end, that's it. Let me tell you something. Did you see? And I know that Charlie Batch said this was a bullshit thing, but did you see the comparison plays where they had one on top of the other?
Yes, I did. Yes,
and I mean, I don't give a shit. It was a different play. All I needed to do was watch Trubisky's eyes and watch Pickett's eyes and see how they went through the reads. You could see that Trubisky looked left like, okay, those 1 to 2 reads are not there. Oh shit. I don't know what to do. Like, they're coming. And you saw Kenny hike it, scan all the way across, and then boom. That was the biggest difference. is that Kenny literally scanned the whole field, and Trubisky does not do it. He doesn't do it. He hasn't done it at all, and that's why we are where we are now.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, we've been
Kenny
talking about it.
Is just he's I don't want to say the complete package because we don't really know yet, but I'm going to say he's got more to offer than Trubisky does. And it was bro, and I don't know if people understand this. Pickett told them don't change the plan with me at quarterback. He took Trubisky's plan and ran it better than him.
That's no doubt.
On 15-minute prep compared to 10-day prep for Trubisky. I think that's it. That's the comparison. You got 10 days, I got 15 minutes, and I ran your offense way better than you.
Yeah, from the neck up, there's no comparison. I mean, the football IQ is it's as far different as you could possibly get. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, I keep beating this drum. He's not a pocket passer. He's not a think it through, go through my progressions. That's not him. A leopard doesn't change its spots. He never has.
That was his knock. So there you go. It's been his knock the whole time.
And all the coaching in the world is not going to bring that out of him. That kind of thing, you either have it or you don't.
Yep.
At this point, it's early, but he seems to have it. Trubisky, we've got enough evidence now. He doesn't have it. Tomlin did say he's going to be the backup this week, and Paul Mason Rudolph is going to keep coming in street clothes every week. I don't even understand that whole situation.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we didn't think would happen that have happened, and here we are. I mean, hey, it is what it is. If Rudolph's willing to do that and not, but we don't know when behind closed doors. He might have requested trade, and they just didn't. They just didn't.
That's possible too.
They just didn't give it to him.
It sounded like at the end of the season when they interviewed him that he was hinting at asking for a trade, and it never happened. So that's possible.
The key thing is he didn't say no. He said, I left it up to my agent to handle that situation. Yeah. That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah. All right. Tomlin had his press conference on Tuesday. Not a hell of a lot. We'll start with the injuries. Witherspoon's definitely out. So we're already off to a bad start. Cam Sutton has a hamstring. Minka Fitzpatrick knee. Edmonds is concussion protocol. And after all the stuff with Tua, I would say it's more likely than not that Edmonds is not going to play on Sunday. They're going to be overly cautious with these guys.
Yep. And
then Cam Hayward had a knee and an elbow. We don't know the status of him. I think the practice report will come out later on today. We'll know more. But man, that's secondary. Sutton, Minka, Edmonds, and Witherspoon out for sure. Going against Josh Allen. Well,
R.I.P. dude. R.I.P.
I don't even think 14 points is enough for a spread at this point.
There's no way. If we lose all those guys, I mean, and they're not healthy to boot anyways. So
even if they play, they're going to be banged up. So it's scary. I mean, we found out that Arthur Marlette can't cover, so we don't want to see him too much. I mean, they wouldn't use James Pierre in that game, even with all the injuries. They refused to put him on the field. So that tells you all you need to know what they think about him. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, this could be bad. Tomlin was asking about the defense and how they struggled at the end, and he said the biggest problem with the team was they failed to get off the field on 3rd and 4th down. Well, duh.
No shit.
Podcast, Tomlin. Then he started going on this excuse thing again about the injuries, and I'm like, please. I went crazy about this on the last pod. I won't do it again, but don't give us the injury bullshit excuse. The Jets were as banged up as any team in football. Their offensive line was decimated. Don't tell me that, we were tired and we were injured, and that's why. No.
He's got to come up with some excuse.
I don't want to hear that shit. I really don't.
He's had enough practice. These excuses, huh?
Yep. And again, it's the same shit every podcast. I mean, every press conference now. It's like, injuries and blah, blah, and, all the Tomlin speak he uses to dance around, the issues. It's getting old. The other thing that came out of this press conference is, man, he loves Mitch Trubisky, doesn't he? He goes out of his way to say, well, it's not just Mitch's fault. It's this is that. And part of it's true. Yeah, there's other things that are going wrong, but Jesus Christ, call a spade a spade. He hasn't been good, but
his first sentence was, it does have to do with some of Mitch's, and then all of a sudden it was right into defending Mitch. And it was just like, dude,
for 4 minutes solid about all the other excuses of why this team's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it cracked me up. I was just like, bro, it's Mitch. It has to do with Mitch mostly. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it.
Everybody knows it. Stop it.
You you want to sprinkle in the play calling, the receivers dropping passes, stuff like that. Cool. I got you. Or but besides that, no, it was mostly Mitch.
He also said that he wasn't completely ready to move on from Mitch Trubisky too. That he could see a scenario where Mitch Trubisky gets back in there. God help us all.
Yes, Pickett gets hurt, and that's the only way he should ever see the field again. Yeah, or when he goes out to do the coin toss, he's still the captain. There you go. Absolutely.
Oh man. Sometimes you're just speechless. One other thing from this that was pretty important. They asked him about Gunnar Olszewski returning kicks, and he didn't mix words about that. He was
he did not defend him at all.
A pattern. And it came out today that Steven Sims was actually returning kicks in practice, and he's most likely going to be the kick returner. That's not a surprise. I mean,
that kid was so dynamic in preseason.
Yeah.
When that ball was in his hands, he was such a dangerous weapon for us. To never give that kid a helmet, I know. I don't know what the fuck they've been waiting for. No,
and then overly conservative at times.
Yes.
He sticks with his veterans too long. Come on, man.
Yep.
Move on.
Give Mark Robinson a helmet. You need guys that are going to stop the run. There's your guy. The guy lays the wood every time he fucking gets on the field in preseason. That was the one good thing he was good at. I don't know.
It's just, I saw something on Twitter too. I wish I could remember who I saw it from, but they said that I think it was all but once the times that Gunnar Olszewski was on the field was a run play. Talk about being predictable. You put Gunnar on, it's a run. The defensive people, other defensive coordinators pick up on that like a snap.
Yep.
And so why is this guy on the field? Why is he on the team? Why are the coaches so predictable? It's just,
I don't know, dude. And they're not willing to change. So the team is willing to struggle. It's going to struggle until some certain changes are made, dude. They got to make big changes here. If not this year, next year, if they have any hope, especially with, you've got your brand new franchise quarterback, right? Or that's what he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You have him come next year. You better get him a real fucking coordinator. To this team, and you got a young team, man. Really, you do. And these guys need a real coordinator to get them going. And you can tell they don't like the way Canada runs the offense. They fucking hate it.
Yeah, so I agree.
I don't know, man.
Will they do two coordinators in 1 year? They seem to not like to do that.
But. No, we're gonna ride this fucking train wreck until the end, and then next year, that's when they'll, maybe Canada will retire or something.
I think Canada's definitely gone. My question is, is Austin the new Keith Butler? Just the Tomlin puppet that he's going to keep around for 5 or 6 years because he knows Austin's in line and will do what he wants him to do. That's the most likely scenario in my mind.
Honestly, for me, will you at least let Austin call the plays this year so that we really know, that's the problem with all these guys, whether it be Keith Butler or Terrell Austin or even Flores, we don't know. We really don't know who the fuck up is, because apparently Tomlin's still calling the plays. For Tomlin to make the comment, I didn't get a chance to talk to Kenny because I was too busy managing the defense, getting them ready to go back on the field. And it's like, time out, man. What are you talking about? This shit's supposed to be done with you calling plays. So if you're not done calling plays, if you're not done being in charge of the defense, then how do we know we have a legit defensive coordinator in Terrell Austin? We are supposed to have a steal in Brian Flores. Right? We don't know. Because that first game against the Bengals, I specifically saw Alex was saying those defensive schemes, those setups were of Flores and Austin. He said that was not anything Tomlin would do. So how did we go from that to I haven't heard that comment made since that Bengals game?
No, and I can see Flores just counting the days to get out of here, because obviously he wants to be either at the very least a DC or another head coach. And there's no way he's going to be a defensive coordinator on this team when he knows Mike Tomlin pulls the strings all the time. He's going to be out of here after this year. So they're going to have to try to find somebody. And that's what I go back to again. Rooney's going to have to step in and say, listen, you're going to hire a legit defensive coordinator with experience, and you're going to let him call the plays. It's too much for a head coach to coach the whole entire team, have everything going on around him, and then focus on one unit and play call for that. There's a very few coaches that can get away with doing that. And Tomlin's proven, because you know what happens is he's so focused on the defense that timeouts get screwed up. His challenges get screwed up. The offense is kind of running with Canada and he's not paying attention to that.
Right.
You can't do that. You have to be the CEO of the team. You have to watch everything. Don't get distracted by, play calling. That's what you hire these guys for. And he's not capable of it. I'm sorry. He's just not.
No, he is not. And I don't know, man. Like I said, I just, we keep doing the same thing over again, hoping to have a different result.
Right.
And it's the definition of crazy. And I don't understand why. I just so stubborn, so just, I don't know. But they got to fix it. And I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do. But
I can tell you one thing. Robert Spillane as an edge rusher is not the answer. They're tinkering with stuff. I saw him in at least 5 plays where they put him on the outside as an edge rusher. I'm like, I finally came to terms with him being the third down linebacker. I get it.
And now they moved him to outside.
Now he's TJ Watt's replacement. What are we fucking doing here? What's going on, dude?
Don't ask them. I don't think they know.
No. Yeah, don't. Yeah, they don't have any.
I don't know, man. Like, I just, I don't know. He should never be out there on passing downs. I don't know why they continue to do it. I don't give a fuck how great of a communicator he is. I mean, you want a great communicator, go find someone from the Geek Squad, throw them out. I'm sure they're pretty good at communicating too. Like, what?
I mean, is he that much better than Miles Jack?
Yeah, and right. So, like,
because on the field he's not.
You're telling me that the communicator is more important than having a guy that can physically stop the pass.
Yeah,
like, I need a guy that can cover. And if you can't give me that, I don't give a shit if you're the greatest communicator of all time. I don't care. I don't want you out there. Like, I just, when did being the best communicator trump talent?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Right.
Like,
if these guys are not, if Jack and Bush aren't good communicators, coach them up for fuck's sake.
There you go.
Put Spillane on the field because he's better at it. That's something you can coach up. You can't coach up talent. I mean, any smart offensive coordinator is going to figure out a way to get Spillane one-on-one with a receiver. Somehow go 3-4 wideouts, and then good luck.
We've known for 3 years now, right? I won't say 3 years now. Spillane is not a cover linebacker. No, you can't have him out.
Literally a run stopper.
And so I don't understand. Like Bush has his warts. Don't get me wrong, but I still think he's better to be out there in the past than Spillane. He's got to be quicker than him. Like, you at least got more speed out there, at least, right? I just, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, but it was constant. Every time I saw 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and long, or 4th and long, or 4th and 7, or 4th and whatever, it was a passing down. Spillane was out there running and way behind the guy by 5 yards. It was just not even a
question anymore. I mean,
it was the Browns game. It was the Browns playoff game all over again. Watching them pick on him and pick on their defensive setup. It was like a nightmare. It was like having a recurring nightmare. That's how bad it was.
And they don't adjust. And that's on Tomlin calling plays. They don't adjust. If he's the play caller, then you got to call something else. You got to fix it. And they don't.
How many times have we said that? It's now a joke. We now joke about how much they don't make adjustments.
Yep. On either side of the ball, really, but especially defense.
Right.
All right. I thought I got to thinking, this team's 1-3. They got a brutal 4-game schedule coming up. The trade deadline's November 1st. This team obviously is not going to be a buyer. They're not going to trade for anybody. And at that point, there'll be two. The question is, will they be sellers at the trade deadline? And who might they consider trading? November 1st is right after the Eagles game, which in all likelihood, they're either going to be 2-6 or 1-7 by that time. So you got to be thinking 2023 at that point. You got to be thinking maybe we can hoard some draft picks, trade off some extra pieces. Having said all that, we'll go through the exercise, but I don't think the Steelers will trade anybody.
So they'll be at like 8 or 9 games in, right? So
they'll be 8 games in. It's just before the
they got another 8 or 9 to go to keep that 500 record.
Exactly, dude.
Got to make a run at this. We can't let that go. That's all that matters anymore in Pittsburgh. That's all that matters. We got to go brag to everybody how, no losing seasons. No losing seasons. That's all that fucking matters anymore with this fucking team. That's all that matters.
And it's amazing how many fans fall in a step with that and say the same thing.
Like, don't get me wrong. Okay, it's great. Awesome. Great. But we look like shit. And we're not going in the right direction.
You're spinning your tires is all you're doing.
Right. So like when you're at 1-7 or 2-6 or whatever the hell,
either one, dude, 1-7, 2-6, they could be. I mean, realistically.
Like, you really think your team's good enough to really worry about this? But whatever. I would definitely think it's time to start thinking about the future and get rid of the people that are not playing up to the standard that they are supposed to play to. So I'm telling you now, first one on that needs to go for me, Claypool.
He's probably one of the guys you could get the most for is Claypool. I mean, he's just his athletic profile alone, people might fall in love with that. Maybe you could get a 4th round pick for him, maybe 3rd if someone's real dumb. I mean, they got a what? They got a 3rd for Martavis Bryant. Can
we get the Raiders on line 1? Can I get the Raiders on line 1?
Right. Unfortunately, new regime over there. It's not the same. It's not the same knuckleheads that were there the first time, but when they made all those trades. He's a guy. I mean, the most likely guy to go would be either Trubisky or Mason Rudolph. I mean,
that's what I was going to say next would be Trubisky.
I mean, with the Giants, Brian Daboll, who had him in Buffalo, would he be interested in Trubisky as a backup? Daniel Jones has been terrible.
If Allen would get hurt, I could see that happen.
No, I'm talking about Daboll's in the Giants now. So
I'm sorry. You're right. I forgot.
And Daniel Jones has been terrible, and
that would make sense too. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. Like, because Danny Dimes is not exactly throwing dimes at much anymore.
I mean, Mason Rudolph at this point, I don't think anyone's going to trade for him. He's been inactive all year. The Steelers have ruined his value.
Yeah.
Just not letting him even dress. So, I think if it's anybody, it's Trubisky, the quarterbacks that could get moved. Although we know Tomlin loves him. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that that's actually a good look. I can see it definitely the Giants with Trubisky. That makes sense. I could see the Bills if say something happened to Allen.
Yeah, the Bills still have some familiarity with him.
I could see they want him the backup for a year.
Who's the Bills backup right now?
I don't know. I'd have to look. Actually, I did have that on my phone. I might still have it. To where you don't got to look it up. Yeah, Bills depth chart. Here, let me show you. One day my phone will load.
I don't know if they'd be interested.
Okay.
He's
Casey Keenum.
Okay.
Huh. So that's where he's at now.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't want Trubisky.
No.
It's a wash. Why trade a draft pick?
Because Keenum's done good as a backup in many spots. So they probably be like, nah, we're good, Mitch.
All right. Giants are bust.
Yeah. Oops. No. I was talking about the Bills.
Yeah. The Bills have Keenum, right? So they're not going to want.
I thought you said the Giants are bust. I was like, oh.
Giants or bust. Either they.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Giants or nobody, basically.
Yeah, I misheard you. Yep. Giants or bust is probably about right. I don't know. Let me see. Think of somebody else.
I mean, honestly, Dave, I think the guy with the most value might be Chooks. Starting tackle, making not too bad money. A decent player. There's been a couple tackles already injured. Dallas lost a guy. There's been a couple of them that have been injured. I think, was it San Fran have lost 2? I mean, the Jets have lost 100.
I was about to say the Jets, they're on No, there's plenty of offensive tackle help needed out there. So I agree with you. It could be him.
The problem with trading him is there's nobody there.
Right. They can't trade Daniels because at guard is a black hole after they do that.
Same thing at tackle, really. So
here's the thing: you're really going to trade any of your offensive linemen that have been doing decent. You're going to get your franchise quarterback hurt. You're going to get him killed. So I don't know.
He's probably the most valuable. You might even be able to get a 2nd round pick for Chooks if they had anybody behind him, but they don't. So
right.
That's
I don't know. There's probably not enough film on, like, say, a Jalen Warren if you wanted to see.
Larry Ogunjobi could get you something.
Now, you're right.
They're pretty deep at defensive line.
I was just about to say, I'm trying to think of people on defense that could maybe that we can maybe move. Yeah, people are starting to float Cam. Did you
They'll
see
never
that?
trade Cam. They'll
I don't
never
think
trade
they will either. But like people are like, hey, we need to trade him now, and I'm like, I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I
I don't
wouldn't
think I'm
trade
ready to
him,
let
and
go of Cam yet. But
they wouldn't. They would never. Ogunjobi, they might move because he's a free agent after the year. He's a good player. They have a lot of good defensive line. Well, they have a lot of defensive linemen. I don't know how good they are, but they have a lot. They've got numbers there.
I would trade Alu Alu for a bag of Doritos.
Yeah, they won't get anything from him. Bag of footballs, maybe. Yeah, they won't get anything from him.
I thought I'd give it a shot.
Yeah, no. 7th round pick, possible.
Who else?
Devin Bush and Terrell Edmonds are kind of the same thing. They're both free agents after the year. They're both underachieving guys. Terrell Edmonds is a little better than him. I mean, you got Casey coming back. Could you dangle Edmonds out there? Maybe.
Good.
I mean, I don't think the Steelers are all that geeked up about bringing him back for 2023.
I just don't think they're gonna. How Olszewski go back to the Pats?
No one wants him. The Pats got rid of him for a reason.
Well, you think they did, but I'm sure he'd go right back to him, and all of a sudden he's back to being, Pro Bowl level. Shockingly,
I would pass out if someone gave anything for Olszewski. I would pass the hell out.
I would pass the hell out.
There's no way. I would love it. He's more likely to get cut in the next couple of weeks than get traded.
Yeah.
Malik Reed. He gave up
I
something
guess
for him.
they already traded for him. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. They want to get that 6th round pick back or whatever. Maybe. I don't. I mean, yeah.
He's not doing anything on the field.
Yeah, no, I could. They could. But the thing about the Steelers is I just they're not going to do anything big like giving away. I just don't. They're just not like that. They're gonna. This is gonna, dude. Look what they did in 2019 when they lost Ben. They went and traded a 1st round pick for Minka. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it was wrong or whatever. I'm saying like they went the other route. They were like, hey, listen, world, fuck you. We're not giving up. We don't care that Ben's not around. We're still gonna go do something like that, which was crazy to me because I'd never seen the Steelers do that before. So at this trade deadline, I have no idea.
It's a whole new regime too. Omar Khan's in charge now, not
right. So I don't know what they might do.
Does he have the stones to go to Tom and say, "Look, we're going to make some moves. We're gonna strip this team a little bit. We're going to play for 2023"? Because
could you imagine? Whew, this power struggle about to get real.
Yeah, that would set off a power struggle for sure.
Dude, if they start, man, I don't know. That's something I never thought of. Is that of the whole Khan and Tomlin banging heads of, hey, we suck. I'm about to acquire picks because I'm going to go at it next year. Because next year, think about this. This will be Khan's legitimately first draft.
Yeah.
So like this is where he starts to actually, okay, I'm about to form my team and how I think things should be and what players we should target. And I could see that. I really could. So I don't know, man. You could be right. Khan could just walk in and be like, hey, look, we're fucking done. We're gonna go get picks, build this team around Kenny, get him some more protection on the line.
It's the logical way to go. I mean, losing if they lost Claypool or Ogunjobi or Mitch Trubisky, would that make a big difference in this season? They're already
right. And here's the thing. Like before people listen to go, oh wow, he wants them to lose. I don't want the Steelers to lose.
No, of course not.
But I agree with some of these guys when they say, hey, look, sometimes you got to suck to come back stronger than ever. And what they mean by that is sometimes you got to have a bad year, acquire a lot of good players in the draft, and then you come back and you're good to go. And it's happened with a lot of teams. Look at the Patriots, dude. They've got like 7 rings, I'm sorry, six rings.
Yeah.
And they've had years that they lost, but they would lose, have a losing record, acquire a shit ton of fucking picks, and draft amazingly, and they're back in the Super Bowl again. Like, it makes sense. Like I've been seeing this stuff. I've been seeing people put this stuff out there. And I'm like, you know what? That kind of makes sense. Like, you know what? If they lose, like, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to be pissed every fucking game. But in the back of my head, I'm going to be like, well, they're going to have a high draft pick every fucking round. This might really help us. So
when you had Ben Roethlisberger as quarterback, you could say, well, YOLO, let's keep going for it because he's good enough.
Yep.
He can make it happen. We're just maybe one player away. Ben Roethlisberger is not there anymore. He's not walking through that door. why not start thinking about 2023 now? You're 1-3.
Right.
We've talked about it a million times. The best case scenario is 2-6 going into the bye. You are not making the playoffs. You are not. So play the young guys, make a couple of deals, hoard some draft picks. I guess we should go through the exercise of the other way. Is there a player that they could trade for that would actually be worth acquiring that could turn this team around? Is one player, say they wanted to dangle their first round pick again, like they did for Minka. I can't even fathom a position that would turn this team around.
I was going to say, there's too many warts, man. Like,
yeah, it's too many holes, right?
It feels like every week someone picks to be the worst player on the field. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, you had Mitch, he was always consistent with his shittiness, but then you'd have the receivers dropping passes. You'd have the defense fucking up. You'd have the, the D-line decides, the O-line, this one decided, well, we can't block today, or we're going to have penalties, or we're going to, it's just like, it's all the time. And it's just like, where is there any consistency at? And the only consistency that I am aware of is Minka.
Yeah, that's about it. You're right. I mean, 1 week it's Deontay dropping passes. The next week it's Chase Claypool falling apart. The offensive line is good this week. It's bad next week. So yeah, one player. I mean, is there one defensive tackle, one stuffer out there that could?
I think it's defense. I think that they've got to fix the defense. I think there's too many. I don't know if I want to say just injuries or they're not playing. Tell me how. Now, look, you banged this drum months ago, and I think you're right. And it's the corner position. I think right now we are really struggling at corner, and like Witherspoon hasn't been healthy, so I get it. But I'm telling you right now, in this league, you better have solid corners across the board. Like you said, you brought it up. You were worried about the corners, and Witherspoon at first looked legit, and then all of a sudden he didn't. Now, mind you, the next day they're like, hey, he's injured. Okay, so maybe he's playing with that groin injury. That's why he didn't look that great against the Browns. But they're saying he's going to be out this game. So how many games are we going to be out? So that's one corner you're down. Sutton's not healthy. He's hurt too. Yeah. So maybe they do need to go get another corner, to help this defense. Edmonds is hurt. We're about to get Kazi back soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't got to worry about trading there for a guy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking either corner. They got all that. I mean, just all that money is already invested in the D-line. Ogunjobi and Hayward.
Defense in the football.
Right. So
you'd have to go get another one.
The fact of the matter is they're still not stopping the run. So I think that they need to target either D-line or corner. If they're going to go get somebody, say, I'll throw something out there. What if they do win 2 games out of these next 4? And don't get me wrong, I get it. It's fucking ridiculous. But I'm saying in general, what if they do beat, say, a Tua-less Dolphins? What if they do beat a divorced Tom Brady-led Buccaneers? Okay. What if they do beat those 2? All right. So say they are 3-5, right? Instead of being 2-6 or 1-7 or whatever. Okay. Just throwing it out there.
Okay.
So now you're 3-5. Watt's back.
Yeah. Then you have the conversation. Maybe we make a trade.
So now you're like, we know what our weakness is. Let's go get it. See what happens.
As a matter of fact, now that you bring that up, if they're 3-5 at the break, they might go out and get somebody to help them. They might, because that's too tantalizing for Tomlin to get back over 500.
Yes, and that's my whole point. My whole point is, if he sees 3-5, he's going to be like a shark in the water when it sees blood. And he's going to be like, nope, we're going all out. We are going to go back to try to make a run at 500. Because if I remember correctly, the season, the back part of the schedule is not as bad. Is that correct?
Yes, there's definitely winnable games on that backside.
Right now is Murder's Row. Then you get to Carolina and them. So like, I could see them being like, look, man, we're going to have TJ back. Maybe they get a little healthier. Add a player, spark this team. Look what Minka did for them. I mean, and look, this could all be crazy talk. They could be 1-7 or whatever, and it's over. But I'm telling you, if they win a couple of these games and they're within striking distance of 500, then they may make a move to acquire, to be buyers.
And the thing we got to keep in mind too is the AFC North so far has been shit. I mean, the Steelers are only one game out of first place in this division.
That's
as
that's
bad
the
as
other
they've
thing.
been.
Yep, that's the other thing. They're right there.
We keep waiting for the Bengals to stop playing well, and they're not. They
That's like Browns fans want to brag about them having a better record than us, bro. You lost to the Jets. You lost to the Jets like us, and lost to the Falcons.
They lost to the Falcons this past week. Why?
Right, like who the fuck? You got room to talk? Like, really?
No.
Okay.
They don't. And the Bengals, they can't protect the quarterback. The Ravens gave up a 20-point lead in the second half. They can't stop anybody at the pass. They gave up, I don't know, was it 400 yards passing to Josh Allen this past week? It's not the typical AFC North that we're used to with a bunch of good playoff teams. It's just not. So, man, would you give up a first-round pick for a corner, even though you could end up 6-11 and have a top 15 pick?
I don't know. They better make some other moves.
2019 all
they better,
over again.
I don't know, man. They better make some other moves to acquire a second or third round pick.
Yeah.
Stack. I don't. Hey, look, they did it before. I'm not advocating they do it. Okay. Before people like what the hell is this guy talking about? I am saying since they've done this before, I could see them making another move to acquire someone they could plug in that have a direct impact. Am I saying it's going to be worth the first round pick? No, it could be. Could they make a move to it's going to require a second or third round pick? Absolutely. So
second, third round pick's not going to get you a great impact, especially corner. I mean,
that's not true if it's a rental.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you could be right. Yeah, I take that back. You're right. That's a good point.
If it's a rental, then no, because I mean, I remember who was it? Was it Gilmore? The Pats gave up for
yeah. It's a good example. It's a good example. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't even think they gave up a second. I think they got him for like a fifth or a sixth because he was just a rental.
I wish I had done some research on this. I didn't even think cornerback. I mean, who might possibly could be available? I mean,
we're injured. We're struggling. It'd be one they could plug in that could make immediate impact right now.
Yeah,
immediate impact.
I think that or a big time run stopping defensive tackle. Just cut Alu and get somebody in here who's just gonna
they need
take on two blockers.
Alu's done. I hate to say that, but he's done.
Yeah, he's done.
He can go.
I said it before the season. He's done. And
I want him gone. Give Loudermilk a helmet. A guy that's supposed to be able to stop the run. Like I said this last podcast, it's beyond my comprehension how that guy is not getting a helmet if he literally is supposed to be able to stop the run. That's his force.
He's got to be hurt, right? It's got to be. I don't know how else.
No, dude, he's not hurt. It's another Mark Robinson. It's another Sims. It's just guys that they think that they don't need right now, and I completely disagree. And that's just the gist of it.
We talked about it a little bit last week, right? It's time to shed those guys, let these young guys play.
Yep. Yeah, I want to see Sims, Robinson. I want to see all them guys. Loudermilk, Calvin Austin. He's eligible to come back within 21 days now. Man, as soon as he's healthy, you are getting a hat. Period.
Well, he's healthy supposedly now. It's just he hasn't practiced in 4 weeks. He didn't practice much at all, and he needs at least, I'm going to say 1 week, but with the Steelers, it's probably more like 2 or 3.
And guess what? If we're 1-3, guess what team hasn't seen him yet? The Buffalo fucking Bills.
Yeah.
Guess
what?
It
would be a nice little surprise to throw him in there. You're right.
I plug him in. The fucking offense will revolve around him. And dude, you could get Sims in there, do some crazy shit with him too. Like they did back when in the preseason. Like you're going to have, if you have any chance, and I'm not saying they do, but if you have any chance of winning this game, you have better do some crazy fucking shit on offense or new stuff, new wrinkles, new whatever for them to fool them. Cause dude, I looked up their defense. Their defense, I think, is number 1 against the run and number 3 against the pass. Like they're top. I was like, God damn, they're really, really good at both. So they're going to have to pull some things that they haven't seen. And Calvin Austin would be one of the players I hone in on. Yeah, Calvin Austin, if Sims gets a helmet, him, that's something I would look at. That's just me.
I mean, we'll go over the Bills a little bit more on our Friday show, but they've got some good players on defense, man. Matt Milano, Terrell Edmonds' brother, Tremaine Edmonds. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, dude. No, they're stacked. Like they got some really good. We're lucky. They don't even have White out there. We're lucky.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if they
Von
had him
Miller.
back too?
Von Miller's playing out of his mind right now. Ugh.
He's gonna put more in a rocker and rock him to freaking sleep.
I don't think we talked about it enough. That the pass protection was not good on Sunday.
No,
in that Jets game.
it wasn't
not good at all. It's like that point you made about it's something different every week. The 1 week they play well. They didn't too bad against the Browns and Myles Garrett. They kept him under wraps, and then this week, they were awful. And then who knows what who knows what bag we'll get this week. I mean, with this offensive line, will they? Oh man.
I don't know, dude.
Would you go get a left tackle? Would you trade big things for a left tackle? Maybe.
I don't think they'd do it. They would call it a continuity issue. You're breaking up the continuity.
So it's interesting. I think you're absolutely right. If they're 3-5, they'll go get somebody. The question is, if they're 1-7, do they start selling pieces off?
And just to clarify, like, I don't know. I don't remember because it was 3 years ago. What was our record when we went and got Minka?
0-2, brother.
There you go.
Don't get me started on this rabbit hole because
you remember? Dude, you round that off right now.
They were 0-2. They got blown out by the Patriots in week 1, right? Week 1, they got blown out by the Patriots. And week 2, they got blown out by Seattle. And I was thinking to myself, Ben's hurt. They're 0-2. This team could be like we're saying now, like 3-13 at the time. They could finally go out and get a franchise quarterback to replace Ben. And no further than I say it, then they traded for Minka and traded their first round pick away. And I'll say it again. I was furious that they traded their first round pick. I was furious. I love Minka then. I love him now. But you know who went 6th overall in that draft, that following year in that draft, right?
Herbert.
Justin Herbert.
Yep.
6th overall. I think the Seahawks had like a 6-10 record.
Yeah.
If the Steelers don't trade for Minka Fitzpatrick, they're 6-10 at best. At best. But they traded for Minka. He turned the entire defense around. You cannot stress that enough.
No, he did.
They were so bad those first 2 weeks. And he came in and it all fell into place. And he got them to whatever the fuck they were, 8-8. So great. You had an 8-8 season. You didn't lose your losing season, but you didn't get your franchise quarterback. That was the chance. Would you trade Justin Herbert for Minka Fitzpatrick right now? In a heartbeat, I would. In a heartbeat.
God,
that dude is a generational quarterback. And of course, you can't say you would guarantee and get Herbert. You could have ended up 7-9.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing, man. Like,
they weren't going 7-9 without Minka Fitzpatrick. No,
I don't.
Way.
I don't know. I don't know how to. Yeah, no.
People need to go back and watch open week against the Patriots. They got carved, and that's with everybody else there. They got carved up, and Seattle too. They were awful. And I think actually did Minka play that second game against Seattle? I have to go back and look, but either way, they were awful. And we know how Mason Rudolph and company at quarterback played that season.
I don't know. I think in the end, if you tell me that I'm guaranteed a franchise quarterback, then you know you want to take the quarterback. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's awesome to have a Pro Bowl, a perennial Pro Bowler safety, but this league runs through with a quarterback. It goes through the quarterback first. You got to have franchise quarterback. Yeah. You get that, everything else to fall into place. So yeah, I would definitely, if you tell me I'm guaranteed Justin Herbert, then yeah, I'm taking Herbert.
The problem was the Steelers weren't ready at that time to move on from Ben Roethlisberger. Even though he had struggled a couple of years going into that, they still thought, but this guy, he was what, 33, 34 at the time with a major elbow injury.
Yep.
And you expect him to come back. It's like LOL all over again.
Yeah.
You're expecting things out of these guys that they can't deliver.
Steelers have a loyalty to a fault. Yeah. They really do. They're very loyal.
With Ben, it was to an even higher level.
I mean, and good on them. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we're just assholes. I don't know.
I'm sorry. You got to cut bait. But I'm old enough to remember, and I bring this up once in a while. I was a Celtics fan from the 80s, and they held on to, I know this is going off topic, but they held on to Larry Bird and Kevin McHale way too long, and they didn't recover for 20 years after that. It took them 20 years to get back to the finals because you can't hold on to veterans too long. You can't be too attached. Bill Belichick would drive Ben Roethlisberger to the airport and kick him in the ass on the way out the door for a first round pick. He doesn't play that game. He covered Tom Brady.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know, man. I just
the flaw in my argument
teams,
is you can't guarantee they would have gotten Herbert in that draft.
No. If you could guarantee me it, that's one thing, but you don't know. You don't know. The NFL's so crazy. You don't know what the hell they could have pulled off. But yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know if they're ever gonna at the trade deadline or whenever. Like I said, I think if they're within 3 and 5, if they're within striking distance of 500, they're making a move. I think Tomlin's going to make a move.
100%.
I just don't
100%.
see them being sellers. I mean, the Steelers being sellers, that doesn't even make.
The Steelers 14-point underdogs. The Steelers 1-7. I mean, that's the realities they got to face.
But I think that's where you see that power struggle between Tomlin and Khan.
Or maybe Khan just tucks and says, "Okay, Mike, whatever you want." And
probably,
there is no power struggle. That's the other possibility, stronger possibility.
Or Andy Weidel will pound the table for someone.
Yeah, Andy Weidel's an interesting one because he's the football guy in this,
right?
But he's third on the rung at best in the power structure in this team.
I still could see it though. I can still see that they make a move for anybody. His name will be involved.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully he has that kind of influence that makes it happen. Either way, really, if they sell, maybe they could trade a player even up for somebody, who knows? Yeah, no,
this is going to be a fun thing to watch because if they pull off some upsets and they're like 3 and 5, then man, things could get interesting.
Funny. When I proposed this bit to you, and this never even crossed my mind, and it should have, because the Steelers being the Steelers, they sneak 2 wins, or even, God forbid, just 1, and they still think they could maybe go to. But 3 and 5 is the threshold, I think. Then they think they can win.
Yeah, and then factor in injuries to other teams in the AFC. Yeah. If the Steelers know, like, look, hey, Watt's going to be back, or Watt is back at the time, or we're getting all these guys healthy again. Like, they may feel like, hey, these teams have lost their quarterbacks. Say teams lose quarterbacks for whatever reason, for a while, whatever. We can win this game. We can win this game. We can win they're going to start plugging and playing like these different outlooks in their head. And then they're going to be like, you know what? Maybe we should go get somebody and shore up this defense. That's already $70 million fucking dollars. But, I can see it. I really could. If they're within striking distance of thinking that they have a shot here.
If they make me look foolish and they go 2-2 in the stretch and they're 3 and 5 and Kenny Pickett's playing really well and TJ's back, shit, go for it. You've already got your young quarterback. And if he's playing well enough to get him to 2-2, go for it.
And this is the whole reason why our record is on these coaches, because of the fact you waited so long to put Pickett in there. If they had to fucking put Pickett in there, I'm going to say against fucking Cleveland, right? We probably win that game. Cleveland or even the Patriots game. I think we win.
You can make the argument they win both those games. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we beat the Jets handily. I think we could easily be 3-1 right now instead of 1-3 with Kenny in.
Yeah.
I just, now that they got it out of their way and they fucked up and now they're 1-3, we'll see that. But I think there's a threshold of 3 and 5 where they will definitely entertain trading and grabbing somebody.
Yep,
but that'd be something for us to pay attention to. But this ain't the game. This game, they should get smoked. They should get absolutely smoked. And we'll wait till the next pod to get. But
we'll go deep into this.
I don't need the next pod to tell you they are going to get obliterated. Here's the crazy part, and you can say what you want. The only way I see this being a game is if Kenny matches him points for points. It looks like a Big 12 game where there's no defenses. It's like 65 to like 57 to score at the end or something. Like, it's going to be if that's a game, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be Kenny and fucking Josh Allen are just going back and forth. But sorry, their defense is number 1 against the pass, number 3 against the run, or vice versa.
And it's on the road.
And it's on the road. It ain't happening. Like, I'll be so fucking impressed with Pickett if he somehow just makes it a game because he's actually marching that team down the field. Like that, I'll be impressed as fuck. Honestly,
I think the only way they keep it close is if Josh Allen gets hit by a bus before the game. I think that's the only way at this point. I'm sorry, I don't want to be so down, but this is so much going against them. It's
You can't make me laugh so hard, man. That makes me hurt. That'll make me fall on the fucking floor. It's the last thing I need right now. Jesus. Oh.
All right.
Good
On that note, let's wrap this up. We'll do our podcast Friday. We'll go over the Bills game. It won't be pretty, but we'll go through it. You can find me on Twitter at SteelersSank16. Follow the podcast. You know, we're on YouTube. Give us a look. Are you going to do fantasy football tomorrow?
Maybe. We'll see how it goes. I want to.
All right. I'm definitely doing I said what I said tomorrow. I was going to do it today, but I got kind of tied up. Yeah, email the podcast at daver@steelersanctuary.com. Follow Dave at M_Korab on Twitter. All right, until Friday, we'll go over the Bills game. Have a good couple days.